Muchachos, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream. Hope everybody is having an amazing day. Hopefully everybody had an amazing weekend. We're back, man. We're back with another live stream for almost a midweek episode. We're here to talk about some pretty crazy things and historic things that has happened over the last several days in the MLS. We're going to talk about those two big things here on stream. We're doing this ahead of the Eastern Conference semifinals that will be taking place on Sunday at around 5 p.m. I believe. We're going to be previewing that on Friday, so don't you guys miss that. Make sure you subscribe. You have your notification bell turned on so you don't miss anytime I go live or post a video. But today we're going to be talking about some changes, some massive changes that the MLS has made to their league for upcoming seasons. We're going to talk about the schedule change. We're going to talk about a completely revamped format and playoff format. I just heard a ding go off. I have no idea what that was. But what's up? Everybody's in the chat. I have no idea what that was. I just got a ding. I don't know if anybody else heard that. But what's up, Ash, being the first commenter? We have Mike in the chat saying Rocco is making history. We have Francisco in the chat as well. Good afternoon to you. Good evening to everybody on the East Coast. I'm pretty sure, Francisco, are you over, I think, on the West Coast still? Damn, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, release the MLS file, says Mike V. Look, we have a lot to talk about. The MLS has a lot of moves has been happening in order to kind of grow the league and to grow the game in the United States, and this is just one step towards that. But I don't want to jump ahead of myself. I'll kind of just cut straight to the point. We have two massive changes that are happening in the MLS. We're going to talk about the biggest one being the schedule change. Now, if you guys, as you guys know, in the MLS, we want to be different, and we decided to go from January to November/December, or essentially like preseason in February. We would have our preseason in February, and I guess a little bit in January. The regular season wouldn't start until late February or early March, or probably March. And then the playoffs would be in November, and then the MLS Cup final would be like early December. But now we are completely changing to a brand new schedule for us, but we're going to be aligning our season with essentially all of the big leagues in Europe. We're finally going to be playing a schedule that would start in start in July. Like about July, August, and then we would end in April or May. May would be where the MLS Cup final would take place. This is a huge, huge change for many, many reasons that we're going to be going over. We have what's it called? I don't know how other people reacted to this in terms of if they like it, if they don't like it. I think this is good. I think this is a really good change. I think this is a really good change. I think this is a fantastic change. I think this is a change that people should be really getting excited about, because not only is this going to benefit every single MLS club in terms of transfers, in terms of getting eyes on the league. I think it's going to really, really just kind of make things a lot easier it's just going to make things a lot easier and simpler on everybody. But I'm going to break down the different reasons why this is a really, really good thing, and maybe some of the cons if we do get to it. Is that noise because of chat? Like, is that noise going to play every time a chat pop? I think that's like a chat box notification. Anyways, whatever. Good luck playing in Vancouver in January. But bro, Mike, you're getting ahead of yourself, Mike. You're getting ahead of yourself, because nobody's going to be playing in January, dude. Nobody is going to be playing in January, and that's something that is being added. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, guys. The start of the season will be around July, August. The end of the season is going to be in the next year in April, May. But in that December, January, and I think parts of February, like the beginning of February, those winter months is going to be a mid-season break. So nobody is going to be playing in the month of January. Nobody. No MLS action is going to, I should say this, no MLS action is going to take place in the month of January. I could see, and this is me speculating, I could see the MLS throw in a competition during that month, probably Leagues Cup. Like I think that Leagues Cup would probably be thrown in January. Why's my phone ringing, dude? My phone's like blowing up. Anyways, because 1 month or like 2 months essentially of like no football, completely no football, I think is kind of crazy. But obviously they're doing that to avoid playing in those harsh winters, in those harsh areas, more in the northern parts of the country, especially like going to Canada and things like that. This is supposed to be, I'm pretty sure the Bundesliga look, I was reading an article saying that hey, I'm gonna show you guys this without it's not sounding like I'm talking straight out of my ass, but let me show you guys this really quickly. Yes, perfect. So it says here it would align with Europe's major competitions, beginning the regular season in July or August and ending in April before the MLS Cup playoffs in May. This move will allow MLS to align with international transfer windows, the international window and transfer windows. MLS would also be likely to take a winter break, which is confirmed. So we are taking a winter break from December and January, similar to the Bundesliga, followed by the offseason in June and July. That is massive. I think it's massive for player recovery. I think it's massive for player not playing in extreme cold temperatures, because it's not like we don't the season doesn't, like, the MLS has never played during those times anyway. So the fact that they're kind of still keeping that alive I think is really, really good. But here, I had another note on that. Here, let me turn to that. But I don't know what you guys think about not playing in January. I think it's a huge positive, especially for those more northern clubs. Mr. says it's a risk, but it's a risk that they needed to take with the whole chance. I don't think it's a risk at all. Changing the calendar, I don't think it's a risk at all. I think this is something that needed to be done years ago, and now that Messi's in the league, they see that they're kind of growing in a way, or the league has been growing for the last couple of years in some sort of way, that they're going to need to make these changes in order to not kind of, I don't want to say be the same as the European leagues, but we want to at least kind of I don't know, kind of compete at or play at a similar level in terms of just what they do. And I think and if, for example, they're going to be, if their transfer window, if the global transfer market begins in the summer, like how it always does for everybody, and that's where everybody is starting, if that's where everybody's league starts, I think that's where the MLS starts if they want to be taken more seriously as a league, and attract those European talents over to the United States. The break is mid-December to around the second week of February, right? Says Francisco. Winter in Vancouver starts in September. I mean, yeah, but the league already plays in September anyway. It's not like that's nothing new. Like, going to Vancouver in September is nothing new to anybody. Going to Vancouver in September, October, and maybe even November, depending if they get to playoffs or not, is like, it's not something new for anybody. So that particular event, it doesn't really matter. It's the fact that they're not going to be going in January, where it's the harshest part of the winter, or in December, or the harshest part of the winter. You know what I'm saying? This year MLS began on the third week of February. Right, I think it was February 22nd. They'll play, at least that's what Inter Miami's game against NYCFC was, because I remember going to the game and I vlogged it. It's on the channel. Did really well, by the way. So thank you guys for that. They'll play Leagues Cup in the winter. They'll have hub cities in the south, and maybe even a few games in Mexico. That is definitely something that they would consider. I don't know if you're speaking this as a fact, Mr. But that was my interpretation because, like I said, a month without football or 2 months without football is extremely insane, um, for anybody, really. Like, you can't just like. I feel like you can sneak in a cup in there, for a month just to kind of get teams going. Um, but that's what I think. Summer Sunshine says, hello, what's up, Summer? Ash says, we want the MLS to model the norms of the big leagues of Europe and South America. Exactly. And that's exactly why they made this change, or at least that's one of the reasons why they made this change. According to Don Garber, it says the process of change is supposed to allow the MLS to compete more with the rest of the world and mainly Europe with the transfer market to align with the FIFA calendar and reevaluate the MLS Cup playoffs. Like I said, the transfer window opens in June. That's where the preseason for most or all essentially European clubs start. It starts in June, and that's where all of their action happens, right? And when that's going on, the MLS are in mid-season. The MLS is in mid-season. We're trying to compete for MLS Cup playoffs. We're trying to compete for whatever cup that we're playing in at the time, whether that's Leagues Cup, whether that's this year it was the Club World Cup. And bringing in a European talent mid-season or selling one of our players to a European club mid-season is extremely, extremely difficult to do. Or like you would prefer not to really, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially selling somebody. Like, if God forbid, we were to sell Yannick Bright in the summertime, we'd be screwed. We'd be absolutely shitting ourselves. That's not something that an MLS club would want to do. Sell anybody mid-season. But then when January rolls around, when the winter transfer window rolls around, that's mid-season for everybody else, and that's the beginning. That's our preseason. And so when we're in our preseason trying to make all these deals happen, everybody in Europe, they're already halfway through. They don't want to get rid of their big players, or essentially any players, unless they really, really try to maybe sneak in a 6-month loan here and there. But it's like, it's very difficult for you to make business happen when the times of the year or the times of the season for these leagues are flip-flopped. You know what I'm saying? So now that they're going to be more aligned, the transfer windows are going to be exactly aligned with these European clubs. This should benefit and boost transfers for MLS. They should be getting a lot of deals done better, easier. When European clubs come to buy MLS talent, it's not going to be any sort of issue because it's going to be happening most likely during the preseason. And then if we want to buy or secure European talent in the preseason in June, we're going to be able to do so without ease, because let's just say, even if it is a loan, we can secure that loan for a whole year or whole season instead of just that 6-month or whatever a month period. Because if we were to loan in players in June, we're only going to keep them until November, and then that's it. So this could really, really benefit us transfer window wise. Another takeaway was that they spoke about let me also show you guys what Don Garber said. It says the calendar shift is one of the most important decisions in our history, says MLS Commissioner Don Garber. Aligning our schedule with the world's top leagues will strengthen our club's global competitiveness, create better markets or opportunities in the transfer market, and ensure our Audi MLS Cup playoffs take center stage without interruption. This is another key thing. The playoffs being interrupted. As you guys know, we're in the playoffs right now. We just played, I say we just, but it happened almost 2 weeks ago. Inter Miami played finished their best of 3 series with Nashville, beating them in the best of 3 games. And what's it called? As soon as that game is over, international break happens. And now they won't play. Inter Miami won't play their semifinal game until Sunday, until 2 weeks later on a Sunday at 5 p.m. That's really, really horrible momentum that kills the energy or the vibe or the hype around playoffs. Like, guys, like, we weren't able to do Inter Miami content for 2 weeks. Like that's insane. That's genuinely insane. When you're in the playoffs, when you're playing for the playoffs and playing for the MLS Cup, the most important trophy of the season, and you're taking a 2-week break between rounds, we can't be doing that. We cannot be doing that. So this change completely gets rid of that predicament, that dilemma. So now the MLS playoffs are going to be moved to the what is it, April, and then the MLS Cup final will be placed in May. So at that point, there's no interruptions and when it comes to international windows or anything like that. There's going to be zero interruptions when it comes to that sort of thing. So that's something that's really that we should be really looking forward to. Let me see. And speaking of playoffs, which I'm going to get into later, but they're going to be completely redoing how the MLS playoffs works, which I'm going to get to in a second, but just to keep you guys, updated on that. But all of these changes when it comes to the calendar, aligning ourselves with the transfer window, the FIFA international window, that is not going to take place until the 27-28 season, the 2027-28 season. Not next year, but the year after. So we still have to wait, or still have to play a whole season, a whole year, all of 2026 is going to be played regularly by the same rules that we have been playing for, in the past. We're going to play all of 2026 regularly from February to December or November. And then that next year, in the beginning of 2027, we're going to be playing a sprint season. So it's going to be a 14-game season. That's going to have its own MLS champion. So essentially, it's from the beginning of the year in January or February until like May or something. They're going to be playing 14 games within those first couple of months of the year. They're going to have an MLS champion. And then in June and July, they're going to pick it back up with the full season and properly get it kicked off. And that makes sense to anybody who to anybody who doesn't understand why the sprint season is taking place. It's because between December or November of 2026 and July or August of 2027, that's a lot of months, dude. That's 6-7 months of no football. So they're going to be implementing the sprint season to kind of keep everybody playing, to still keep everybody in shape, to still have the competitiveness. And we're just going to have a small little mini tournament, essentially 14 games, which is going to be a lot of fun. And honestly, speaking of thinking about it, if you really do, this could genuinely be Inter Miami's best chance of being an MLS champion, an MLS Cup champion. Then there's going to be a lot of people that says, "Oh, they played the sprint; they're a champion from the sprint season. It's not going to count." But I promise you, anybody that wins that MLS Cup sprint season tournament, they're going to be dragging it. They're going to be like, "Oh, yeah, we're MLS Cup winners, but it was just like a sprint." I'm pretty, from what I've read, they're actually going to be legit MLS Cup champions, whoever wins that sprint season. So we're going to be having essentially two champions in 1 year, from 2020, in the beginning of 2027, and then at the end of the 2027-28 season. They should have done the Apertura and the Clausura. That would have been awesome. That would have been cool. They probably just didn't want to replicate Central America and South America when it comes to that stuff. And be more aligned with they wanted to be more or similar to the European competition, but they also are going to add, like I said, they're going to add their own twist to it, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So you guys don't go anywhere. Normally, player contracts ends on June 30th per FIFA calendar. Yeah, no, exactly. So it's gonna be a lot easier for us. Let's see, because in the preseason, let's say in the preseason, I don't even know, nah, never mind. I was gonna say somehow we get a 6-month loan from a European player in January. Then they'll play with us until June, which is our mid-season, and then like we lose them for the last 6 months. It's like it'd be dumb. So like things like that like don't make really any sense. The no international breaks during playoffs is the best thing to come out of this. The transfer thing is a free market. Second most important trophy, CCC, is first. I guess, kind of, but like, not really. I mean, like, I want to be. To me, the MLS Cup is the most important trophy. For Inter Miami, at least, because they need to be champions of their own league before they can become champions of America, if that makes sense. Like, of like the Americas. They can't be the champion of the Americas and then like not even be able to win their own league. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. So the 14 game season is going to be interesting too in 27. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be pretty cool, pretty fun. It's going to be interesting to see only 14 games played and see how like that whole tournament thing works out. I'm also interested to see if they're going to be implementing the new playoff format in that year. Probably not, because there's not enough teams, but MLS is back 2.0. Yeah, no, this is quite literally, it's MLS is back 2.0. Whoever gets the sprint season gets a mini MLS Cup. 14 games probably means one game versus everyone in East or West Conference. Yeah. MLS Cup is the most important. CCC is the most prestigious. I like how you word things, Mike. I love how you word things. Let's talk about let's talk about the Eastern and Western Conference, because something that is being implemented with this new schedule change is a new like format to how the MLS season is going to play out. Not just playoffs, but how the MLS league is going to be played. I want to see if I actually have that article pulled up. But what is essentially going to happen, you guys know that currently the MLS, when they play their regular season, they play all the teams in their respective conference. So this is an Inter Miami channel. We're going to talk about Inter Miami. So as Inter Miami, you're going to play all of your teams in the Eastern Conference twice, home and away, and then you'll like sprinkle in some Western Conference teams here and there, because why the fuck not, right? Because that's just how they do it. What's it called? And that is going to change. There is no longer going to be Eastern and Western conferences, from what I have read. I'm trying to pull up that article right now. Conferences in MLS switched to. So instead of having two conferences, East and West, they're going to be making it like football. They're going to be making it like American football. They're going to have divisions, regional divisions, respective to each club's region. I'm going to pull up a map right now, actually, so you guys can have a better understanding of it. So this is what the MLS, or these are all the clubs in MLS. I'm going to zoom it a little further out. Actually, I'm just going to move the chat. I'm just going to disable the chat for this segment, so you guys can see. But these are all the clubs, okay? These are all the clubs in the MLS. You have Inter Miami here, you have Orlando, you have Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville, Cincinnati, Columbus, whatever, right? Instead of dividing this like essentially in the middle and going East and West, now they're going to like group these teams, these clubs. They're going to be grouping these clubs in regional divisions. So, for example, this is not confirmed. Like, the groupings or the divisions are not confirmed. But just to say something, it's going to be like Inter Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, Charlotte. Like, that's going to be one division. And then, like, up here, it's going to be these teams. And then in the Central, it's going to be these teams. And then Western Conference is going to be like these, or like this group. They're going to be splitting it into like 5 divisions, which I think is a lot cooler than the Eastern versus West Conference thing. Because from what I've read, And I'll show you guys a different image as well for how it could be grouped. But from what I've read, each team will play the teams in their in their division, not their conference. Each team will play in the, like, this is an example of how the divisions would look. So let's say let's say Nashville, Atlanta, Charlotte, DC, and Orlando was in Inter Miami's division. Inter Miami would play all of these teams twice, home and away, right? And then they would play every team in the MLS, no matter where you are. They would play every team in the MLS once. And whether it's home and away, it's like random. It's not, well, I don't want to say random, but they have like a method to it. They'll have like more away games one year, more home games the next year, something like that, right? And then I think that'll total to like 34 here. So it'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10 games plus the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's 24. So that's a 34 game season. A 34 game season, which is a regular season for the MLS, which I think is amazing. I think it's awesome because now when it comes to like MLS Cups, when it comes to like the MLS Cup or MLS like playoffs, it'll be like the winner of each division will like play each other, and then it'll be, you can, for the MLS Cup final, you can have teams in the same conference play against each other. So for example, we could be seeing an Inter Miami versus Charlotte final, or Inter Miami versus Cincinnati MLS Cup final. Or we could see LA Galaxy versus LAFC. We could be like San Diego versus Seattle. Like, we could be seeing like teams in the same conference play in the MLS Cup final, which never happened before, because we would have an Eastern Conference champion and a Western Conference champion, and those champions play each other for the MLS Cup. I think it's a sick method. I think it's absolutely sick, and I think that would definitely make the Supporter Shield standings just like really like actually good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they end up doing this and we still end up having a Supporter Shield, the Supporter Shield would mean way more than what it means right now, because the Supporter Shield doesn't mean anything now to anybody, but mainly to me, because you don't play every team in the league. You only play against every conference opponent, and then you'll sprinkle in like 3 or 4 teams from another conference. And so it's not like you're not really proving your ability entirely, competing against everybody, every single club in the league. You're only proving your abilities within the same teams in your conference. But now, with this new system, with the regional divisions, playing, other regional champions and winning your division, and then, going to the MLS Cup final, or even winning Supporter Shield, you're actually going to be playing every single team in the league, no matter what. In the teams in the Western Conference, in the central part or Midwest of America, you're going to be playing everybody once. And I think that's awesome. And I think that'll definitely improve or increase the value of a Supporter Shield. And we will actually be extremely, extremely happy and excited to win a Supporter Shield. Because if we can beat every team in the, outside of our division once and win the Supporter Shield, that is a true champion right there. I don't know if they're gonna do this. This is just me speculating. Because I think if they implement the Supporter Shield, because like, honestly, at that point, I think the Supporter Shield and the MLS Cup are kind of equal in value. Does that make sense? Like, if you win the Supporter Shield after beating every team, like being the champion of your division, and then beating every team in the league right, being every team in the league, and you win the Support Shield, and then somebody, and that's like, I think that's equivalent to an MLS Cup. Genuinely, I think that's equivalent to an MLS Cup. And then I'm not saying the MLS Cup is now it's not going to be worth anything, but I'm saying like those two are going to be on a similar plane when it comes to the value of winning it. That's if we have the Supporter Shield. If we implement this method of the Supporter Shield, you know what I'm saying? They might completely scratch Supporter Shield. They might, we might not have Supporter Shield anymore. I have no idea, and just have the regular MLS Cup playoffs, which I think might happen because it doesn't make sense for you to have the Supporter Shield and the MLS Cup when you have this divisional, like NFL style, method. But you never know. I think if they do implement Supporter Shield as being this like bigger reward or like more respectable reward or award, I think you could definitely see like a Supporter Shield winner play against, and then you'll see like the Supporter Shield and the MLS Cup winner will play against each other, and then that'll be like whatever the fuck that cup would be, and then that would be like the ultimate thing. Like that would just have more meaning. It would have more value. It would have more fun. It would have more excitement because now when you win Supporter Shield, it doesn't really mean anything. We were excited when we won Supporter Shield, but then it's like, but it wasn't an MLS Cup though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if my reasoning or my thought process is making any sense to anybody. If you guys disagree with me or agree with me, I would love to hear your comments below, whether you're here in the live stream or watching this afterwards. I would love to hear your opinions. I appreciate them greatly, and I will read every single comment. They should do conferences. They should just play all teams once for 29 games and then start playoffs. You want them to keep the conference method, but play every team once. But they're not going to do that because it's too short. And it's a lot of travel, I think. I think it's just too short. I think it's too short. That's another thing. The CCC teams won't be coming in still preseason mode. Should not do the conferences. They should not do the conferences. You're missing San Diego on the map. Yeah, no, I just pulled that map off of Google. I mean, but it wasn't really to kind of... It was just kind of to show you guys essentially where everybody was. But the newer map showed San Diego. MLS won't break up the old rivalry. So Red Bull... Okay, everybody listen up to Sean right now. MLS won't break up the old rivalries. So Red Bull and DC stay together. Columbus, Chicago stay together. San Jose and Galaxy will stay together. You're talking about in the divisions, which would make a lot of sense. It would kind of be stupid to break up those rivalries because those rivalries mean a lot to the fans and to MLS supporters and anybody who watches who's a really big fan of that. That would make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, that is just a design that somebody drew. I just snatched this off of Reddit because they essentially were gonna do what I was gonna do, but they already had it done. So I'm like, fuck it, let me just pull it off of you. Inter Miami division will probably be the 3 Texas teams, Orlando and Atlanta. That's a pretty good shout. I don't think you would have a problem traveling to Texas, the people from Florida, or in that South region. I think it's a good shot having like Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, and then Dallas, Austin, Houston, like those guys all be in one. That's 6 teams though. So I don't know. I don't know how many teams are going to be in a division. Because how many teams do we have in the MLS? Like 30, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Yes, we do have 30. So if we have like 5 groups, it'll be 5 groups of 6. It'll be 5 groups of 6 teams. So, which I think would be, yeah, essentially that would work. The three Texas teams, and then Atlanta, Orlando, Miami. Atlanta would have to do the most traveling in that, though, because Atlanta are like right there in the middle, and they have like Charlotte right there. They have Nashville right there, who are really, really close. So I don't know. That's something that they're gonna have to figure out. West Coast teams together, Texas teams with Colorado. The Texas team with Colorado. Colorado would probably be more with. Colorado's in a weird spot. I like Colorado's like right dead in the middle. Like, look what Colorado is. That's like a weird spot to be in. That's an extremely weird spot to be in. I don't know how this guy drew this shit, but just ignore the circles. But like it's just in a weird spot to be in for Colorado. Good morning from Bangladesh, dude. Oh my gosh. Good morning. What time is it in Bangladesh? Appreciate you for being with me this morning. The amount of home and away games will be the same. Will alternate is where one game will happen. MLS will never validate the Shield since they don't own it. Fighting for playoff spots with every team. Fighting for playoff spots with every team and not segregating playoffs by conference also makes MLS mean so much more. 1,000%. MLS Cup means so much more. Yeah, no, 1,000%. The MLS Cup will mean a lot more, 1,000%, because of where we're going to be playing every team, and we're not going to be separating it by conference. And I genuinely, I believe that as well. I just used the Shield because I don't know. I just said Shield because I think the MLS Cup already does have a lot of value. But it definitely will increase the value of the MLS Cup, and I only said support Shield because it is the more like traditional table that literally every league in the world uses. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of having a traditional table. But anyway, that essentially doesn't have any value. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's a trophy, but it has very, very little value. We need a more competition tournament like Saudi and Europe has. A competition tournament. MLS should add, the relegation system. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're franchises. They're not clubs. So the only way for a team to not play in the MLS is for them to run out of money and funding, and then they'll disband. But I don't see the MLS adding promotion and relegation until the sport in this country is like just as big as in like England and literally in every country in Europe. There is zero chance. I'm telling you, they're going to try to implement it. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen until this sport in this country gets just as big, like all the countries in Europe. Because there is zero benefit. Because at the end of the day, this is all money, and I think this is America, and the fact that no league or no sport in this country has a promotion relegation. So there is no point of them, even though like soccer, yes, has it, but like basketball doesn't have it, NFL doesn't have it, fucking hockey doesn't have it. Because it doesn't exist, they're gonna try to make soccer just as popular as the NFL in this country. But that it's not gonna happen for like maybe over 20 years from now, but maybe even more. But I think that's kind of what they're going for. So I don't think they're going to be adding promotion relegation. It'll be like a Super League. It'll be like Super League Rugby here in England. There's a league winner and then a playoffs to determine the big winner. Look at that. Dude, I got to get into rugby more, man. I used to watch Argentina's rugby team a lot. The Pumas. And I think we were pretty good. Rugby is really fun to watch. I went to a rugby game actually in here in Miami, or because the Miami Sharks play. I don't know if you guys know anything about rugby or anything like that, but here there's a league, like the professional league here in the United States, and the Miami Sharks play at the Inter Miami training facility, and it's really cool. And I went to a game and it gets packed. Like it's tiny, right? But like it's like a tiny training facility. So like, yeah, like there's a lot of like, it's going to seem like a lot of people because it's small, but like it's cool. Like people get into it, they cheer, like there's a lot of cheering, and it's really, really awesome. I highly recommend, if you guys haven't been to a rugby game, I highly recommend to go to a rugby game. Really, really, really cool. And the tickets are not like that expensive. I think they're like 20-30 bucks. So highly recommend. So huge shout out to the Miami Sharks, because it's very entertaining to watch. Matt, do a collab with MLS Moves. Actually, I did watch his video. I have to give a huge shout out to MLS Moves, man, because that guy is fucking awesome. Um, I don't know. I don't know anything about his background or anything like that. Like, I don't know if he has like a career in journalism or like anything news like related, or he's just like a guy that like started like me. Like, I'm just a fucking guy that started doing videos. But he's killing it. He has like 10,000 subscribers. He like is making video after video. Like, I'm pretty sure he does this like full time. So like, good for him, dude. Like he's awesome. But I should probably hit him up and like we'll do a collab or something. I mean, like the thing is though that I'm just like kind of like a fan. I'm just like an Inter Miami fan, and I don't claim to be a journalist. I don't claim to have like inside scoops on anything. I feel like this guy is more of like a journal. Not, I don't want to call him like a journalist, but like he's more like an MLS fan. That guy's like, he seems like a very, very smart like MLS guy, and I'm not a smart MLS guy. I'm just like an Inter Miami fan who loves the game, and I just love watching Inter Miami, and like things like that. Like I'm not like, you know, I'm super deep into it. Like I read the news a lot, and I read a lot of articles and things like that, and I share that knowledge that I read with you guys. But that's essentially it. That guy, he is awesome. So huge shout out to MLS Moves. Matt, any thought about the John Cena retirement? Dude, John Cena, dude, he was the GOAT, dude. John Cena's the GOAT. I've watched him all the time as a kid. When I got into WWE, like when I was very little, like in elementary school, my friends introduced it to me, and John Cena was the first wrestler that I heard about, and he was awesome. That was back like when he did like rapping, I'm pretty sure. It was like the early 2000s. It probably was like 2007. I was like 6, 7 years old, or like 7. Yeah, I could have been around there, 2008, something like that. I was like 7 years old, 8 years old. I was in elementary school, and I found out about it in like, what is that, the first grade. It was awesome. But yeah, fucking retire, dude. It's crazy. It's so insane. But it's good for him. He needs to. He's been in the business for a long time. He's going to be a big part of the business probably afterwards. I haven't watched WWE since then. Like the last time I watched it, I was probably like 10 years old or 12 years old. So I don't watch wrestling like that, but I know like all the older guys. Rapid and RSL, the hard ones, they have to stay together too. Just here to say that this is the Messi effect. This really is the Messi effect. This, I'm sure that the whole schedule change thing and all of that was in the works, not in the works, but like in talks for a really, really long time, for at least a couple of years. But they just didn't want to make that move because I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest, because maybe they thought they couldn't really compete with clubs in Europe or anything like that. But now that they see that the league has so much potential to grow because that Messi's in the league and they're attracting a lot more bigger superstars like Son and Mueller, they're gonna try to. And now that the what's it called, the World Cup is coming next year, like they're gonna use this window and use this opportunity to hopefully massively improve the game here in this country. And this, I'm not saying that this is the answer to doing that, but I definitely think that this is a huge step in that trajectory, like that upward trajectory. Because like when outsiders look at the MLS, they're gonna be like, oh hey, like this is similar to fucking the Bundesliga, or this is similar to the, I don't know, to whatever other league. I'm not gonna say the Premier League because the Premier League is probably the most watched fucking league in the world, and we're not there yet. But maybe like just how we have like Premier League mornings and we support clubs over there in Europe and in England in the Premier League, like United and City and Newcastle and fucking Aston Villa and whatever. Maybe we can have those guys from over there support MLS clubs, which I think would be pretty interesting. Like that is, I guess, the long-term goal, right? And now they're gonna have a lot more access to watch those games too. I mean, like because of the whole MLS thing, and let's talk about the MLS thing or the MLS, or not the MLS thing, but the Apple thing, the Apple TV deal. Let's talk about the Apple TV deal for a minute, because as you guys know, now the only real way to watch MLS games is through Apple TV, or it was through Apple TV, the MLS season pass on Apple TV Plus. So you had to pay an external subscription to watch MLS games, which sucked, to be honest. I'm gonna be so honest. This deal came out like when MLS and Apple TV did that like 10-year deal back in, what was it, in 2023. I thought that was awesome, but then when I saw that I had to subscribe extra, like when I was given the subscription for free, because I mean I still am, but like I was an Inter Miami season ticket holder. So every season ticket member, even now, is going to be like, from now on, it's going to be given a free subscription. So when they gave me that free subscription, I was excited, because I'm like, oh damn, like now I can watch Apple TV, like Apple TV Plus, and like all the shows, and like Ted Lasso and whatever. But no, I realized that like it's only MLS season pass. Like they only give you MLS season pass and not Apple TV. But that has completely changed now. That has completely changed. Now, there is no longer an MLS season pass. Now, the games are going to be included with the original service of Apple TV, which I think is so much better. And that is something that they should have done from the very fucking beginning. From the get-go of this deal, they should have done that. It's because this is what I'm assuming happened. I'm not a business guy. I'm not going to pretend to be a business guy. I'm really bad. Like, don't ever make me your business guy. Like, don't ever make me your accountant. Don't make me your marketing manager. I'm really bad at business, right? But Apple TV and MLS had a 10-year deal from 2023 to 2032 to have these broadcast rights for MLS, or for Apple TV to have MLS's broadcasting rights. And then with that, MLS like kind of really moved away or canceled a lot of their deals with like TV, like TV broadcasts. But for what I can assume, the numbers on Apple TV, like in terms of people watching or having MLS season pass, was extremely low, a lot lower than Apple TV anticipated. And I say that because MLS or Apple TV cut the deal short. So they, instead of going from a 10-year deal, they shortened it to a 6.5-year deal. So it's no longer a 10-year deal. No longer a 10-year deal. I can't even fucking speak. A 10-year deal. It's no longer a 10-year deal, and now it's going to be shortened to a 10 or 6.5-year deal, which means I believe it's going to expire in 2028. I think at the end of the 2028-29 season, or something like that. So they shut off a couple years, which is not good. You never want that to happen. So with that being said, they cut the deal because I think like I said, season pass numbers were low, viewership was low, everything was low. And it's like, damn, like this is not what we anticipated. We're going to cut the deal and give ourselves kind of like an out. But now I think this is going to be a lot better, because I think not only will subscriptions be up, but I think a lot of people are going to have more access to the MLS. So if you already have an Apple TV subscription, which, by the way, they're not called Apple TV Plus anymore. They're called Apple TV, just simply Apple TV. So if you have an Apple TV subscription, which is a global thing, everybody, like, it's like Netflix essentially, um, you're going to be able to watch MLS. So if you have the subscription, you have nothing to do, you want to watch sports, and it's the weekend, maybe you turn on, if you're in the United States and you turn on to watch F1 on the weekend, you'll watch the race that happens in the afternoon, in the morning, in the afternoon, and then bam, nothing else is really happening, or you're still on Apple TV. MLS is going to be on. You're probably going to have people go towards MLS and check out their local team, which might improve the numbers. You have more ball knowledge than him by default. No, I don't claim to have more knowledge than anybody. I promise. He definitely, these guys that are doing these videos and this content like MLS moves, battered herons, dry pink dialogue. These guys have ball knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Instead of $14.99 for only the MLS season, now it's $12.99 for MLS games and Apple TV. That's what I'm saying. So it's a really, really good deal. And I think on top of that, MLS is going to be getting paid more money. I'm pretty sure. But like I said, I'm not a fucking businessman, so I don't know all the technical stuff. There's a reason why Apple doesn't release viewership numbers. YouTube or Twitch should be MLX's next carrier. Honestly, I'm pretty sure they have a YouTube TV. Maybe I'm lying. I think I remember there was a club I think it was LAFC. I'm pretty sure we're sponsored by YouTube TV. And like all of the LAFC games were broadcasted on YouTube TV. I'm pretty sure, because I remember seeing YouTube TV on their chest, I think. YouTube TV is good. Twitch, I don't know. Twitch, I don't know about Twitch. Twitch, definitely not. But yeah, I think, Apple TV, like going to this comment that Sean said, Apple TV really missed out on that for the last like 2-3 years, because they could have had a lot more eyes on the league. There was like the casual viewer is not going to pay extra to watch a league or a team or even a sport that they've never seen before in their life. Or maybe they've watched the World Cup, or maybe the Champions League, or maybe a Premier League game here and there. But and even if they did watch those things, they've definitely watched it for free, or they've watched it with a subscription that they already had. Like Peacock, and Premier League games are a lot of Premier League games are on Peacock. A lot of Premier League games are on NBC, which is where I watch them. I watch them on NBC. Paramount Plus. I have Paramount Plus, and I have it specifically because of Champions League. And Serie A is on Paramount Plus. The NWSL is on Paramount Plus. The Women's League, the Barclays, or what is it, the BPL, or the WSL is on Paramount Plus. There's a lot of, I'm pretty sure even the Argentinian League is on Paramount Plus, but it's in English. So, like, those are kind of the, you know what I'm saying? But then, like, if you have, and those are really cheap. Paramount Plus is what, $7 a month after taxes? I think it's like $5.99, and then it'll go up to $7 a month with taxes and fees and whatever. Peacock, I think, is a little bit more on the expensive side, but you have access to all the movies and the shows and whatnot, so it's worth paying that, because you're not just paying for the football or for the soccer, but you're paying for the shows. You're paying for a streaming service. And that's something that Apple TV lacked on. But they picked it up. They finally picked it up, and them trying to be more competitive in the streaming world, I guess. They thought, hey, let's give them access to Apple TV too. So Peacock also comes with Disney Plus. Really? That's crazy. I mean, even Disney Plus has ESPN and Hulu. Like, when you buy the Disney package, you get 3 subscriptions for like the price of 1. So if you have the Disney bundle, that is so good. And ESPN, I'm surprised like ESPN doesn't fucking pick up on this shit. I'm pretty sure they used to back in the day, but maybe they're just more locked in. I think they're just more locked in on fucking college football, baseball, football, like and NFL and golf and like all these sports, all these like American sports. Not saying that golf is an American sport, but you know what I mean. Is it an American sport? No. A lot of fucking Europeans play golf. I work at a school, and our golf team has a lot of international students. USA, hold on. I completely missed this. USA are up 4-1 against Uruguay. Is Uruguay playing the reserves? What? Hold on. It's 4-1 at half. It's 4-1 at halftime. Oh my God, dude. Yo, where's Solana at? Yo, I gotta get Solana on the stream. I gotta call him up. I just hope that they keep the feature where you can go back to watch the entire match. I hope so too, because I'm really glad that you brought that up, Ann Hamlin. I'm really glad that you brought that up because I love rewinding because the MLS Pass had full match replay. They had highlights, their own highlights, and they had something else or match moments or something like that where you can I don't know. It's like highlights, but it live. I don't know how you call it, but it's cool features that I love because I love going back and rewatching the game fully when I have the time. So, especially because when we do these analysis videos and live streams, you kind of have to watch the whole match, right? From beginning to end. But no, this is crazy. Sean says, Solana is losing his shit right now. Solana's in the press. Oh, is he actually in the press box? Good for him. Let's fucking go Solana. I'm going to text him. I'm going to be like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Hold on. Let me text him. Really quick. Let me text Solana. He's going to be mad, dude. Hold on. I'm going to be like, yo, what the fuck is going on? He's gonna be so mad. Oh shit! I watched La Liga on ESPN. Fuck yeah, dude. I don't have ESPN, unfortunately. I wish I did, to be honest. I should fucking pay for it. Maybe when I get a fucking promotion or when I get paid more, I can have it. I would love to have ESPN because I would watch that shit all the time. I would watch La Liga. I would watch all the I don't think you guys understand. I haven't watched a Barca game from beginning to end in so long. And that was extremely taboo for me. I used to watch Barca games religiously when I was a kid. Back when I had beIN Sports or some shit like that. Or whatever else they would show it on. But I mainly remember beIN Sports. I don't know if any of you guys remember beIN Sports. But back then, you used to watch all the Barca games, all the La Liga games would happen on beIN Sports. And I would watch that shit all the time. Now, I haven't watched a full Barca game in years. The only times I can watch Barca are in the Champions League because I have Paramount Plus for $7 a month. So yeah, I'm broke, dude. I'm broke. I can't afford that shit. YouTube TV dropped ESPN for a month and we all rioted. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Isn't something happening there? Or I guess they fixed that, right, Sean? It's only $12.99. ESPN, yeah, that's a fucking lot of money, dude. When you have 5 different subscriptions, you're spending $100 a month. If you have Peacock for whatever, if you have Peacock, Apple TV, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus bundle, fucking HBO. I have HBO too. If you have 6 fucking subscriptions, and you have I have fucking Apple Music. I used to have Spotify, but I switched to Apple Music because it was cheaper. Dude, you're gonna end up spending fucking $70-$80 a month. It's crazy. Being sports and DIC in Argentina is where I call out of the football back. Yeah, dude. DIC. We still watch the DIC sports. I don't even know if being sports is not a thing anymore, right? That shit is gone. But yeah, we still watch the DIC sports. We watch that to watch all the Argentina games and like all the Liga Argentina games, and things like that. DIC sport. But yeah, no, I miss it. I miss it when I had fucking beIN Sports. Now everything's behind a fucking paywall, and now all these leagues are in different fucking subscriptions. Like all these leagues are in different streaming services, and like you need to have 7 different streaming services to watch 7 different fucking leagues, and it's like holy fucking shit, dude. Use Paramount only. Use Paramount only at the Champions League time and then cancel it. Yeah, but you'll cancel it for like what, a couple of months, which I guess is, I don't know. I keep that shit running, honestly. I should cancel it and then re-fucking get it again. You're really smart for that, Sunshine. I'm not gonna lie. Because I just got charged for it I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I just got charged for Paramount Plus, and the last time I actually used it was fucking back in shit when the Champions League was going on. So I definitely should cancel that until Champions League comes back up. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But anyway, guys, how long have we been live, dude? Have we talked about everything yet? Yeah, we talked about the 2 massive schedule changes, right? We talked about the 2 changes that's happening right now in MLS, the Apple TV deal, and the schedule shift, as well as the potential playoff, or not even playoff, but the new season system that's going to be implemented, or the new season structure is going to be implemented by the 2027-28 season. Remember, so that's not next season. It's going to be the year after. So after the World Cup, which honestly, MLS completely missed that window. This should have been This should have taken place at the World Cup. But I guess it kind of is what it is now. It is what it is. But anyway, hopefully this league can continue to grow, because at the end of the day, this is our local league. We want it to be competitive. We want it to be successful. We want to see good quality, high quality football being played here. And in my lifetime, I can say this comfortably. I have no shame in saying this. In my lifetime, the MLS is not going to be as good, maybe even nearly as good as the Premier League in my lifetime. But maybe, I don't know, 50 years down the road, maybe the MLS could compete against the top leagues in the world. Maybe. Like in terms of viewership, in terms of competitiveness, in terms of relativity, in terms of, we're not just retiring players, past their prime to come to the league for maybe for a year or 2 to retire and then call it quits. Hopefully, maybe one day we can see a world where we can acquire the best talents. Players are not going to just use the MLS as a stepping stone to go to Europe. But they'll probably still, maybe they'll still want to play here to go to Europe, but at least here the football will be a lot better. Because at the end of the day, you can't compete with Champions League and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But to be just as good, I think, and be more like a Bundesliga kind of league, I think it'd be, hopefully that could happen. It's just not going to happen in my lifetime. But I like how the MLS are making moves to constantly improve the league and constantly want to make it more competitive, more relevant, make it better in any way, shape, or form. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of the live stream for today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. There was a lot of people here today, and I really, really appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in and talk with me about MLS, about Inter Miami, about all these very historic changes that are going to be happening to the league very, very soon. We're going to be going live again on Friday. It's probably going to be late Friday night, because I do work on Friday evening-ish. So I probably won't be going live at 7 p.m. It'll probably be maybe 8, maybe 9 p.m. We'll just have to see. But I'm going to keep you guys updated. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the time that I do end up going live. I'll keep you guys updated in the community tab here on YouTube. Make sure you do like this video if you have enjoyed this kind of content. Share it with your friends, and so we can get more people to grow this community, to watch here, to interact with us, and to chit chat on a night like this. But I'm gonna go eat dinner now because I'm starving. Hope you guys eat dinner too. For those of you eating breakfast, eat breakfast. That's the most important meal of the day. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys later this week. Val Miami. We're gonna preview that on Friday. Ciao muchachos. Bye.